Hey y'all, it's Fan. Insert fancy YouTube music here. Hi, I'm here to give you guys another sewing tutorial. It's Fan from Sewing with T.A.E, the owner of the T.A.E Emporium, and today we are making turban head wraps. I already kind of filmed this a few times, so if you go through my shorts, it might be in there, but I filmed them horizontally and I want them to be the right format for you guys, so I'm turning my phone around and I am filming it again. Hopefully I can give you some more details. We can talk through this slowly so you can also make your own headbands. And I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can download the pattern that I created to make the headband, and we will go from there. So when I make turban headbands, I like to use them out of some type of knit fabric and satin lining and elastic. I'm forgetting something. So you're going to need some type of stretch fabric. Today I'm going to be using velvet, some type of satin. If it stretches, that's a plus. Mine that I have today does not stretch, so we're going to use what we have just for the sake of this tutorial. Scissors, sewing machine, maybe a seam ripper, measuring tape. Let's get started. All right, here are my pattern pieces. I have the self and the lining. The lining is bigger because it does not have stretch. The one is smaller because it is stretched to fit the lining. 1/2 inch seam allowance. Even if you have stretch lining, it's okay to use this still. I am using this red bandana velvet fabric. So this is my self, this is the lining, and this is a head wrap. So it has like a strap that's attached at the back. So I use a 30-inch strip that I cut on the fold, so total 60 inches by 6 inches wide. So just simple sewing instructions. You're going to put the two pieces together, sew a 1/2 inch all around, and leave a 2-inch opening that is not sewn closed. And for the self, you're going to do something really similar, but it's going to be closer to the bottom so that you can insert the strap when it is sewn. So you're going to sew a 1/2 inch. You're going to leave like a 2.5 inch space here, and then you're going to sew the rest about 1 inch below that. And then here is the strap for the headband. You're just going to fold it in half, right sides together, and stitch along the edge. So let's head to our machine now. I should have ironed this, but I did not. So here we are with my wrinkled satin. I got distracted and I almost forgot the whole opening I told y'all about literally 30 seconds ago. I literally almost forgot it. So you'll see me doing a stop and can start back to continue here closer to the end. So here is my sewn lining, and you can see here to here is where my opening is, and then I sewed the rest closed. I did the same thing for the self fabric, and you see there's an opening for the head wrap. For the velvet strap, I am just going to serge it, fold it in half and serge the ends closed. And then once I get it all serged up, I'm just going to flip it inside out. So I'm just using a loop turner to pull it right sides out. Not shown, but you're going to take the tie and twist it a bit and then put it inside of that hole we left on the self fabric. And you will see here, I didn't show myself sewing it, but it is now sewn. I continued that stitch where I had left the opening. I kind of trimmed the excess fullness, and I'm going to cut it off for a little bit more. A clean garment is a happy garment, so I'm cutting all of my leftover threads. But now the next step is to make sure that it is secure. So we're just going to give it a big tug to make sure that it's not coming out, because that would suck. So it is in there. Now the next step is to connect the outer self fabric to the lining fabric that's going to be at the interior. Mind you, the lining fabric is also slightly shorter. Well, no, it's actually longer than the self outer fabric, because the lining doesn't stretch. So you need to make sure your head can fit into the non-stretch lining, and then the outer fabric, which has stretch, will stretch over it. So actually it's slightly longer than the fabric. What I'm doing here is I'm just marking the center of the head, actual head cap part of the head wrap, so that when I go to start pinning and adding the elastic, that I'll make sure I'm lining up the center front, the center back, and the two side seams. So you'll see me here marking it is a little complicated because I didn't want to move so that I could film this for you, but I'm gonna get it. You'll see me here marking the middle point for myself as a reference. So there you have it. The lining is attached to the self fabric. The next step is we need to add some elastic. I took about 20 inches of elastic and I'm going to sew it in a circle. So we're just going to put the ends together, put them under my presser foot. You have to be kind of careful because you can sew off of it. But I'm just going to sew back and forth in this little area and then use this for my elastic in the head wrap. So same thing you did on the previous one, you have to do on here. I'm going to fold where the stitches I just made, and I'm going to make a mark there. You don't need to, but I'm going to. And I'm just using a pen. This doesn't really seem to be working, but here we are. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to fold it in half again to get the other half. And then we're going to put the two marks together that we just made and make a fourth one, because we at this point have 3 family members. So at the fourth, I was kind of hoping this would focus a bit, but it's not. But y'all get what I'm saying. At least I hope so. And if you're not getting what I'm saying, then ask me a question in the comments and I will do my best to try to clarify for you. So those 2 side seams in that center front and center back mark that we made, we've already marked them on the elastic, which makes our life so much easier when figuring out the ease. So pin each corner to each mark to a side seam on the head wrap, and then again to the center front of the head wrap, and then to the center back of the head wrap. I noticed that my elastic was twisted, and off camera I went back and fixed it because I cannot stand twisted elastic. It drives me insane. So once I realized it was twisted, I went back and fixed it. I did not put that back on camera, but I just want y'all to know that players mess up too. I've been doing this a long time and I still mess up. But here we go. I'm pinning the elastic to the front, and I have to put one more pin in the back. And basically I am going to add a stitch along the center of this elastic to hold it in there. Someone told me about a foot for the serger that you could feed your elastic through while you sew, and it will serge and attach your elastic. I bought the foot, still haven't used it. So one of these tutorials, somebody remind me, or one of these tutorials I'm going to actually do it and use the foot, because I know other things that will work for me outside of that, but I bought that foot to make my life easier. So next time I'm going to use that. We're going to see how it goes. So we fixed the camera so you can get a glimpse of what's going on. But basically we are just straight stitching to hold the elastic down. We want it to be secure. We don't want it to be falling apart on your head. So quality is a part of the things that is expected when you're making custom things. So I'm going to pull my elastic between the pins until the satin is flat, just to ensure that the elastic and the body of the fabric, the body of the style, are not fighting. And it turned out pretty easy. Sometimes sewing like this, it gets to be a little bit difficult to pull out the ease, but this worked out very well. Alright, so I'm finishing this up, and reminder, I'm just sewing straight down the center of elastic through all layers, the lining and the self. Now we have this like inside out head wrap. So that hole that we left open in like step 1 somewhere up there, you're going to pull the entire head wrap through this hole. So this is why it's important to have like a 2-inch hole, because if you make like a 1/2 inch hole, you're going to be struggling to get this out, and you're going to be popping stitches, and that's no fun. Nobody wants to do that. So here we are. You will see I'm just easily pulling it out, pulling everything that right side out to the outside, bringing them out. But anyways, so it does have the tie, so you have to pull all of that out through this little hole. Be careful and be mindful. You don't want to pop your stitches, or you don't want to break anything. So once you get it out, you're going to kind of give it a like steam if you want, press if you want. You can test it on your head at this point just to see if you have enough space, if there's a little bit too much space. Sometimes I feel like they're a little bit too round, but it works out because you can kind of tuck the excess fullness as needed. But the next step is going to be that you're going to take that hole that was in the middle in the satin lining, you're going to take that to the machine and stitch along the edge to close it so that no one else can like alter your head wrap. But you can go in, stitch it closed, and that literally is it. You can choose to make a casing for your elastic. I did not for this one because honestly I did not want to change my thread, and my husband wants me to give this to him. So here's an example of how you do it. Those ties there, I kind of quickly mentioned it before, is one big tube. So before you attach it to your hat, twist it so that it has a couple of loops already pre-made into there. It's very hard to tie this on a mannequin that moves around, so bear with me. So here we are. The issue that I realized was I was running out of fabric, and I cut my straps cross grain, so it did not stretch like the ones that I practiced on before this. So I had to go back and add a little bit more length because it did not stretch as much as I was used to it stretching. So make sure you cut your tie with the stretch going left to right. So back to the head, I literally tried to hold it down as best I could and retied the wraps. And then once you get it around your head for the third time, you can easily adjust that extra fullness. So currently on this mannequin head, it has a bit of slack, but it doesn't account for different head size, different hair sizes, different hair thicknesses. So this is just to give you a little bit of a purview on how to put it on your head and how to style it, how to pull it together. So this is the turban head wrap. It is a very simple but cumbersome thing to do. And how this has become like super smooth and super clean, you just have to tuck and pull and adjust the fabric. So it's all about styling and however you feel comfortable. But yeah, that was it. If you like this tutorial and all of this all overness, follow me and like and subscribe for more videos. Bye.